community has an opinion on 3, 2, 1, and so do I. A new balancing change was deployed on the PTR, and Ana can no longer teabag sleeping enemies. And finally, the Omnic Post is turning 3 years old, and I'm giving away an Overwatch 2 Tracer and Genji pop figure. This and more in this week's episode of A Few Seconds of Overwatch. Welcome to A Few Seconds of Overwatch. I am D from the Omnic Post, and this is what happened this week in Overwatch. Last Tuesday, the first experimental card went live. Players have been testing this first card, which is the famed 3-2-1 lock. So 3 DPS, 2 supports, and 1 tank. According to a poll I did on the Omnic Post, about 65% of you actually tried the experimental card. And most of you seem to have a really clear opinion on it. The one I have been hearing the most is that it is a lot of fun, but it's not fit for quick play or competitive mode. Especially lower tier players are not ready to get this kind of pressure in their game. And I do have to agree. First up, the intent of Blizzard with this 3 DPS setup was to lower the queues for DPS players, which worked. But now tanks are stuck in a longer queue. Not as dramatic as DPS players used to have, but still, it takes a few minutes now. And that was to be expected. What is a bigger issue is that both tank and support players are getting really stressed. And you don't want a stressed Mercy. That lady does not handle pressure well. She has a really big staff and she's a doctor, you know, just saying, be careful. Dealing 3 DPS that are all over the place and trying to keep a tank alive that is being targeted by the enemy DPS, well, it's a challenge. And if you then end up with a no-heal Moira, well, you're screwed. This setup requires a lot more coordination and some common sense to pull it off. And in random groups, well, that is a bit of an issue, especially on lower ranks. But everyone seems to be enjoying the changes they did to Ryan and Roadhog, while Zarya feels really OP. So those are things that the community actually wants to keep. I personally have had a lot of fun with this experimental card, but I usually play with a full group. And I do have to agree, while it is a lot of fun, it is not fit for competitive or for quick play. Either Blizzard has to tune it a little more, or they just have to keep it for arcade, which would be fine. I expect this experimental card to go away with the end of the Mardi Gras event, and Jeff will most likely share their findings right after that, hopefully. I think they might just scrap the idea, put it in arcade, and maybe take some of the tank tuning with it to quick play and competitive. It turns out there was a sneaky change that was made under the radar. Yeah, here's the radar. This is under it. See? Ana can no longer teabag sleeping enemies. What? Who would do that? Teabagging sleeping... Come on. I would never do that. The sleeping enemies now have a hitbox, which kind of prevents you from walking over them, which is an important part of teabagging. Let me explain how to teabag. Step 1. Sleep dart an enemy. Step 2. Step over the sleeping enemy. Step 3. Bend up and down using your knees while keeping a straight back. A total of 3 times should suffice. Step 4. Walk backwards and kill the enemy player. Okay, that went differently. Damn it. At first, people actually thought it was a nerf due to some complaints that people had about the amount of teabagging that's going on in the Overwatch League. Or it was just Blizzard that was really concerned about Ana's knees. That lady is not getting any younger. She's hunched over as it is. I don't think that teabagging is helping her out, okay? It was just a bug. We're going to fix it. Chill. Blizzard updated the PTR. Patch 1.46 added the earlier announced share your replays function and made the assemble hero counter a little shorter in some game modes. But there were also balancing changes. D.Va's boosters recharge slightly slower. Sigma's ult charges faster. Soldier can use his Helix rockets after 6 seconds instead of 8. And Mei's wall now has a cooldown of 13 seconds instead of 10. All in all, not the biggest changes, depending on who you ask. In the coming week, season 21 of competitive play is starting, and we'll see the first hero pools. For 1 week, 4 heroes will not be available to be picked in competitive play. The week after that, we'll see that same system pop up in the Overwatch League, which will be interesting. Now, which heroes do you think they'll be banning in that first week? They'll be picked from the most popular characters that were used in the weeks before. Let me know what you think in the comments. My guess would be Diva, Ana, McCree, and May. And as a last bit of news, the Omnic Post is turning 3 years old. On March 1st, 2017, I did the first post on my Instagram account. And it has been such a wild ride. The account is well over 180,000 followers, which is insane. I do appreciate all the support I've been getting over these last 3 years. And to thank you guys, to celebrate, I'm giving away 2 pop figures. I'm giving away an Overwatch Genji and an Overwatch Tracer. The link is in the description. Click it. Good luck. Once again, thank you all for watching all my content on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and here on YouTube. I love you all. I can't say that enough. Except for that one guy. Yeah, he's weird. I'm sorry. That was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. Follow the Omnic Post on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me as ATOMIIXTV. ATOMIIX is with 2 eyes. On those same platforms. I stream 3 days a week on twitch.tv/ATOMIIXTV. And as always, the links are in the description. Thank you all for watching. See you next week. Bye bye.